Well, it's Saturday 25th of June. This is episode 2225 of 301 Permanently Moved.online, a personal podcast 301 seconds in length, written, recorded and edited by me, at the JMO. Last week I talked about the mechanics of certain kinds of worlds. A world's mechanical properties can give rise to win conditions. Worlds without win conditions tend to produce lore and narrative as a result of play. Chess is a simulation, a world. The goal of win condition is to check the king. But have you ever tried to play a game of chess with a different win state? For example, why not play out a story where checking a bishop is enough? Or play without a goal? Since it's all worlds all the time over at JMO Industries, I thought I would touch on player types this week. Back in 1996, the father of all virtual worlds, Richard Bartle, see episode 2220, published a taxonomy of player types in virtual worlds, a heuristic still deeply embedded in games design to this day. It's a classic 2x2 grid. Simply put, there are two axes, action versus interaction, and world-oriented versus player-oriented. This produces four kinds of players: killers, achievers, socializers, and explorers. In 2003, Bartle expanded this 2x2, adding a third dimension, implicit and explicit. Are people navigating the world implicitly, i.e. brainwormed, or explicitly, doing something with forethought? Adding a third dimension to the 2x2 adds 8 more player archetypes: planner, scientist, networker, and politician in the explicit category, opportunist, hacker, friend, and griefer in the implicit category. Which one best suits your online persona, or has it changed over time? In code spaces, people tend to switch arbitrarily between player types as they learn more about themselves in the context of the world. It's worth pausing and asking Web3 folks what kinds of player or user archetypes are you building for in DAOs? Are you making allowances for participants to switch archetypes as their understanding of the community matures? Bartle's framework is a good starting point for thinking about modelling types of participants in worlds. But in 2011, John Randolph introduced a new taxonomy, one which attempted to match the simplicity of Bartle's original 2x2, but also incorporated findings in psychology on implicit and explicit motivation, giving us 4 new categories of world navigation: immersion, stories, role-playing, exploration, imagination, and a sense of connectedness to the world of the game; achievement, sense of progress, mastery of skills, and knowledge, etc. Cooperation, player involvement in activities where they are helping each other through creativity, shared adversary, etc. Or competition, player involvement where individuals compete over scarce resources, comparison, and win-loss situations. See also Randolph's 2011 book, Game On, Energize Your Business with Social Media Games. It's about how world design fused with consumer capitalism, a must-read for anyone involved in Web3. So, competition, cooperation, achievement, and immersion. Only one of these types of behaviours has a win condition. Social media tries to be a space for all 4, but since all social media platforms are on PvP servers, only one kind of navigation style is effective. I personally prefer narrative gaming, and have done ever since my first game of Warhammer back in 1994. For me, a wargame is a simulation within which a story unfolds. The events are contained within the world's physics, or the rules, made both fair and unpredictable for participants by randomness and chance. You play the game, roll some dice, and a story takes place within the confines of the simulated world. There are, however, people who only ever play to win. There's nothing more frustrating than playing in the same world with someone who has a different playstyle. For example, at the start of a game, I could say, the narrative and context for this game in the campaign is X, Y, and Z. The other person would say, I don't care about all that. The mission says I just need to do A, B, and C to win. All shared worlds must eventually address participants navigating by different styles. In 2017, Games Workshop tried to formalize a solution with the introduction of the concept of 3 ways to play in Warhammer 40k 8th edition: open, matched, and narrative. The core rules remain the same in all 3 styles, but meta-level context advises players on how to approach play. Despite this, you can still end up in a position where a highly competitive player still perceives a win condition inside a narrative game, rather than using the simulation to find out what happens next. This isn't a new problem, it's one that emerged in the very early days of D&D. The question of, are you playing against the world or through it, or rather, is the world adversarial or collaborative? It's revealing that early D&D games played at Caltech and MIT were notoriously punishing. Lee Gold, a collaborative player, wrote in her fanzine in 1975 that at Caltech, the Dungeon Master is playing against the players, which given the venue, elegantly sums up computer system design ever since. See episode 2008. In summary, it's easier to allow participants to change their playstyle than it is to change the world. But more importantly, a world has to allow players to change their playstyle as they learn more about themselves in the context of the world. Most techno-social systems we interact with today, however, struggle to even consider this as a possibility.